Hi, welcome to part 2 of this short course. What we're going to do first is have a quick look around the screen and explain the general setup. Up the top here we have our kind of standard tools of open, save, new file for instance, print and the likes, undo and redo. Below that we have what are called ribbons. This is becoming fairly common in most software nowadays, especially you'll find it in the Microsoft Word and the Office suite. Now, what this does is it groups the commands into larger collections. So each of these commands here brings open a new ribbon. Now the ribbon itself can be minimized, and that's using this icon here. Okay, you see how the ribbon changes shape each time, how it disappears entirely. Now if your ribbon is irretrievable, just type in ribbon at the command prompt. Okay, ribbon and return will bring back the ribbon. Now because my screen's set to a fairly low resolution for the screen capture, what it's done is it's squashed up some of these items here. Now let's say I wanted to see the properties all the time. So what I would need to do in my instance is close these three sub menus here. Now to do that, if you right click on top of one and it's in show panels, it's hanging off the screen here at the moment, which I can't drag it back on because it's the last one, but show panels, then I'm going to take away the tick from clipboard. Okay, and I'd repeat that for the others. Let's see if I can get it to stay on screen. No, it's just out of the way. But I'm taking the tick off groups, and I'm going to take the tick off utilities as well. Okay, and that way the ones that are left are spreading out to fill the available space. This is a very useful one to be able to see all the time, and on most screen resolutions you'd be able to see it. It's just that mine's squashed for the screen capture here. Okay, and changes you make to that should remain, but it's not guaranteed. And at the moment we're in one of AutoCAD's workspaces. Now because of my screen resolution I can't see the icon for that. It's up here at the top. You see the word drafting and annotation. That's your standard working environment. There are some more, 3D Basics, 3D Modeling or AutoCAD Classic, but AutoCAD Classic isn't back to the Release 12, Release 14 view. It's just a little more floating toolbars. That's basically what AutoCAD Classic brings back. But usually be in drafting and annotation. Okay, now if you can't see it up there, look for the cog icon on screen, and we've got it here down at the bottom as well. We've got workspace switching. We could activate it there. Okay, the black background area is model space. This is where you do all your design work. It's a one-to-one environment, so one unit here is basically set to 1 millimeter. Over this side there's a couple of utilities basically for navigating a drawing in 3D. These won't be of much use to a 2D drawing. Okay, they can't be fully switched off as far as I can see. They can be made smaller, but they can't be switched off. Okay, below that there's a line here. This is empty because it's expecting you to create more layouts. We have one model space, but you can have multiple layouts, and each one of these is looking at model space, and you set these up to be a view of a particular room, or it might be the whole floor, or it might be a detail of a stair, whatever. Each layout can be of different content. Okay, below that we've got the command prompt. If your command prompt disappears completely, you can use Control and 9 to bring it back. You can also type in command prompt. Sometimes it does decide to go AWOL completely. I've also seen quite a few people park their command prompt below their Windows taskbar. Now you have to unlock the taskbar, move it to the side to bring back your command prompt. It can get dragged too far down the screen. Okay, below that we've got a kind of a helpers area of the software. Now as AutoCAD gets older, it introduces different methods of working, and that's what most of these icons represent, different methods of working the software. Now for this course I basically only need access to the orthogonal and object snaps. This controls the direction of lines and movement, and the object snaps control the accuracy, so that if I want to draw from the center of a circle, I can do that accurately. So these are the only two I want active, so I'm going to turn the rest off. Okay, it just generates a bit too much screen clutter and gets a bit confused as you're trying to teach. So I basically just keep things a bit simpler and keep most of them switched off apart from ortho and object snap. And each of these two have their own shortcut key. Ortho is F8, object snaps is F3. Okay, so we've described basically what's happening on the screen. What we'll do is we'll activate a few different object snaps. We'll see what's set at the moment and maybe tweak those. So when this button's activated, it means it will look for these positions on geometry all the time. Okay, they're not active now because we haven't got a command running. There's no command running at the moment, so it's not looking for the geometric points. So to change which ones it's going to use, you right click it, go to settings, I'll pull this onto the screen, and the ones I'd like you to tick are endpoint, midpoint, center, intersection, perpendicular, and for now we'll keep nearest on. This is quite a useful little tool. It lets you pick any point on any object. Now, usually I would keep this switched off because it can get a bit annoying, but just for this exercise we'll keep it on because I do want to draw things in a slightly different way later on. So we've got those ticks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them active, and OK. We're ready to actually start some drawing. Now, I don't think I need to explain fully the function of layers. These are basically for controlling, and ordering the information in the drawing. They're especially useful for deciding who gets what eventually. So if you want somebody to get the furniture layout and somebody to not get the furniture layout, then in your layouts these can be controlled. Okay, now if a layer exists that you want to use, that's easy. You just use this drop down, and we then look for the layer name, and if I click the layer's name, it will make this layer the current layer. That means anything we do from now on will be green. So I'm going to pick fern. So anything I draw from now on will be green because it uses the color of the layer. That's what by layer means. And it will show up as a green line in the screen. Okay, now I want to get in closer on this particular part of the drawing. Okay, I can do that in a number of ways. If I click and hold my middle mouse button, I get a hand symbol. I can keep holding and drag that to the middle of the screen. Okay, so it's me that's moving. I haven't moved the drawing. It's me that's sliding across the plan. Now you can roll the middle mouse button and you see that it zooms in stages. Like each click is a slightly different magnification. Okay, so when you roll the mouse, you see it jump in leaps. Now if you want it to zoom in a bit smoother, type in your command prompt, which is down here, type Z and return twice. Okay, at the end of your cursor now should be a magnifying glass and a plus and minus symbol, and you're using your left mouse button now. You click and hold the button and move your mouse up and down, and this gives you a bit of a smoother movement. Okay, when you're satisfied, you can let go, you can press escape. Now let's send this back to the way it was. Let's see the whole plan again. Now we can do that in two ways. We can do zoom extents, so that would be Z return and then the E option. Okay, I'm not going to do that, just going to press escape. Easier than that is to double click your middle mouse button, double click the wheel, and that zooms extents for your drawing. Okay, remember I clicked and held the middle mouse button to bring it into view. If I want to pick that area of the plan directly and go straight into it, I can zoom window. Quickest way to activate that is Z return, W return. Okay, the return means the enter key. Okay, in AutoCAD, the enter key is in 3 positions on your keyboard. It's your main carriage return button. There's an enter key on your keypad, and you can also use the spacebar. Okay, so it's now it's telling me what to do. It's saying specify the first corner of the area you want to zoom in on. So you click, hold, okay, you can let go, and then the second click when you've got the rectangle, the shape you want. Okay, so we zoom in on the room. Okay, now let's draw this shape. We're just going to draw a rectangle, just to refresh your drawing. Okay, we're going to draw this in 3 or 4 methods. Okay, so we're going to be working on layer fern. Now let's turn ortho off just now. Okay, turn ortho off because we're going to use the coordinates and directions to set up the shape. So I'm going to zoom in a bit closer. I'm just rolling my mouse button. Okay, and I need to draw a line, and so it shortens to the letter L. So it's L return. It's asking me to specify a first point, so select a position anywhere you want. Okay, now ortho's off, so my movement is free. Okay, I'm going to rely on what I type to control the direction for the line. So the next position for the end of the line is at 1200 less than symbol 0. So that's 1200 millimeters on a direction of 0, and due east is 0 in AutoCAD land. So you press return once you've typed that in. We're going upwards this time by 750 millimeters. So it's at 750 less than symbol 90 and return. Let's come back to the west, going to the left this time, so it's at 1200 less than symbol 180, so it's 180 degrees. And because I've got to here from the very start, I could type in the letter C and return, and that will close the shape. So C and return. Okay, that's the ordinate method, as we call it. So we're specifying distances and angles to move in, angles for the direction. Okay, a slightly easier method, we kind of call this dragging. Now this only works with orthogonal shapes. Okay, so I put ortho on and I start a line again. So it's L, return. Let's just draw it alongside. So I'll pick a start point. So ortho now is restricting my movement. So I just drag in the direction I want to go, and then I can let go of the mouse. And I want to go 1200 millimeters in this direction. I now want to go 750 millimeters in a vertical direction, so you set your direction, type in the number and return. Okay, set your direction, this time to the left, 1200 and return. And let's close the shape in a slightly different way. Okay, let's use the object snaps. So if I move my mouse around this area, I wait till it shows me the most sensible option. So that would be endpoint or perpendicular. I'd be happy with either. Okay, each of those will give me the same result. Okay, once it says the word perpendicular or endpoint, you select. You wouldn't go for this one. You wouldn't go for nearest because it will create a diagonal across there. Okay, so endpoint or perpendicular are the ones to use. You select the point. It's still wanting me to carry on drawing lines. I don't want to, so I press return to stop the command. So enter to stop the command. Okay, a third way you could draw that is actually to create a rectangle, because we know how far along it is this way and we know how far up it is. So let's try the rectangle command instead. So REC, return. pick a start point for your rectangle. Let's roughly go here. And it's asking me to specify the diagonally opposite corner. Where would it be? So this is distances in the X and Y directions. So what I type in is at 1200, which is representing 1200 in the X direction, comma 750. So go 1200 along to the right and then 750 up. Press return. Okay, so all three look exactly the same. Okay, we'll delete most of this and then show you the final method of drawing the line. Now, deleting and selecting is quite easy in AutoCAD. You can basically just dive in and click. Okay, the small square in the middle of your cursor is called a pick box. Now you can make this a bit bigger if you wish. Okay, type pick box before you try anything else. Pick box and return. Now mine is set to 5 already. Yours would probably be defaulting to 3 pixels, which is a bit small, makes things a bit tricky to pick. So change it to 5 or 6 and things are much easier to select. Okay, now individual picks could be a bit time consuming if there's hundreds of objects, and that's why we have what's called implied windowing. Let's practice it on this one. Now if I do an implied window from the left to the right, so without a command, there's command prompt empty, if I just click and move from the left to the right, it generates a blue box. Okay, now if I select here, I would end up with only one line selected, the full line that's inside that shape. It wouldn't pick any others because it's quite weak. See what happened? So the second pick, it only showed me the one. Now press escape and try that from the other side. Okay, do the similar shape, but you'll see that it takes in 3 lines this time. Okay, it took the one that was completely in, but it also took the 2 that were cut by that green shape. And that's termed a crossing window. It's much more powerful. Okay, these can be combined, so we can add additional windows. Holding the shift key allows you to take things away. So sometimes it's better to select everything and take away 1 or 2. So hold shift and you can take away objects. Okay, so using a combination of individual picks and implied windows, you can pick multiple objects. Okay, so using the green one, what I'm going to do is leave these 2 lines. So I'm going to select those, select that, and these 2, and then press the delete key. You can also use the erase command if you wish, but most people tend to use the delete key now. Now let's zoom in slightly on what's left here. We've got an L shape. What I want to do is shorten these 2 lines so I can show you the final method of creating the same shape. So let's do the horizontal line first. Just click on it once. I don't have any commands active. When you click on an object, grips appear. That's what these blue squares are. Okay, click the right hand end grip. It goes red and it shows you that you can adjust the length of that line. You can shorten it or lengthen it. Now keeping your cursor away from the line, okay, don't click on the line because your object snaps will take over. You may find it difficult to shorten it. So I'm in line with the line, but below it, and my cursor isn't touching it. Click a point and the line shortens to that distance. Do the same for the vertical one. Just click the line, click the grip, get away from the line, and this gives you full freedom of how long you want to shorten the line. Okay, press escape to cancel the grips. Okay, so the final method of drawing that same shape is to use an offset instead, and this will create parallel copies of these lines. So the other side of the table is 1200 millimeters away. The front and back distance of the table is 750. So I offset the line 750, I offset this one 1200, and then repair the shape. So the command is offset, which shortens to the letter O, so it's O, return. The distance I want to offset by is 1200, return. Pick the vertical line, move to the right and you see a ghost appear. Okay, if I move to the left, the ghost would appear on the other side. Okay, I want it to go to the right, so I move to the right slightly. Doesn't matter how far you go, as long as you're on the right side. Click again, done. Now I don't want to use 1200 again for this one because I'll end up with a square. Okay, I want to change the offset distance, so press return twice. Offset distance 750, return. Pick the horizontal line, go upwards and pick again. Okay, so you can see the shape is here, but it's just not quite finished. Offset's a sticky command, it's expecting you to carry on. If you were doing a staircase, you would keep going with the offset. Doing a fence or lines on a building, a roof, for instance. So press escape to stop the command. And then to repair the shape, we use fillet. So it's F, return. And what fillet does, it creates corners for you. So you pick two lines that would create a corner. 1, 2. Return to use the command again. Pick 1, pick 2. Return to use the command again. Pick 1, pick 2. Okay, we'll stop it just there.